want to make one thing clear. So when there's a square, it's different than circle. So like this. So squares are usually high or usually the low ones. Okay. On to the tutorial. Okay. We are going to be showing you how to make the song in the mood. First, there's no looping. The tempo BPM is 91. Length is 17. Width is free. Height is normal. And that's all. Okay, we're gonna start with the bass. So move 2 blocks ahead. And start with, here, let's get something real quick. Okay, so this is C square hashtag. C square sharp. So you'll start out with this. So move 3 blocks ahead. Wait, oh, I should probably. And then you'll have a G square sharp. So now 3 more G square sharps up. You'll have one right here on the next block and have a D circle sharp. And then another space gap, G square. It's just G square the whole way through, okay? So from there, we have a C square. And then this gap space right here, 1 block gap. Then 2 block gap right here. And then you'll have a C square sharp. A 1 block gap on the next thing. We'll have a D circle sharp. And then we'll have the C square sharp. Okay, so from right here, I'll stop. So right there, your thing should sound like this. Okay, then there's gonna be a C square next block. I also highly recommend grid snap on 8. Okay, and right here, and 2 block gap, there will be C square sharp, D circle sharp, C square sharp, and then a 3 block gap, C circle, next gap, D circle sharp, C square sharp, and then C square sharp. C, and then 2 block gap, C circle sharp, D circle sharp, 1 block gap, C square sharp, and 3 block gap, C square sharp, 1 block gap, 2 circle sharp, C square sharp, 2 block gap, another C square sharp right there. This is C square sharp, and then another 2 block gap, C square sharp, D circle sharp, space gap, C square sharp, I meant C square sharp. And then that 2 times. Okay. Now you should, and then you should end right here. So, and then I'll give you, okay. Now you should have this. No, I'll give you the base. Okay. You should just have... Okay, now we're gonna do this. The collapsing. So, it's gonna be F circle. Then 2 block gap, F circle. And then 4 or 5 block gap, I think. F circle. And a huge gap. 2 space gap. To F square. 2 space gap, F square. 1 gap, F square. And then 2 block gap, F square. 2 floor gap, F square. 2 thing clap, F square. 1 floor gap, F square. And then 2 floor gap, F square. And now you should, now at the start right here, you should have D square for your base. And then right below C square, a G, so square G. And then under C square, there should be a square G. Under another C square, another G. Under this C square, and square A sharp. Under this C square, A circle sharp. Under the C square over here, F square. Under this right here, F square. This other thing right here, F square. And the C square, under the C square, D square, sharp. After under the C square sharp, D square sharp. And then under the C square right here, G square, the C square, G square, the C square, G square, this C square, A circle, no, not A square sharp. Under this one, A circle, no, square sharp. And then right here, in the middle of these. So, like, this is like half gap. And you should have an F square. And when you've done all of that, you should have this. We'll do this part last since this is the hard part. We want to get this out of it. So we want the piano. So G square, and I think this is light piano. I think G square, space gap, other G square, space gap, F square, half space gap, A square, and then 1, 2, 3 and a half, 2.5, square gap, A square. Then we'll have a huge gap right here. It is 1, 2, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square. We'll have an A square sharp. And 2 square, A square sharp, C square. You'll have an A square and a C circle. Then A square. Okay, so just to get you straight on this, you should have this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.5 gap, G square. Then space gap, G square, space gap, F square, half space, A square sharp. And 3.5 squares, A square. And then next block, A square sharp, C circle, one block, and then space gap, D circle, and then space gap, C circle. And then next block, one block from the next block, and next floor, the C circle. And now you should have this. You'll have this. So, you'll want. So, A square sharp, G square, G square sharp, and it should have this. Well, not exactly like that. Then, the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. No, A square sharp, G square, and D square. Then up here, 2 blocks, you'll have A square, A square sharp, F square, and D square. On the second block, 1.5 blocks away. Yeah, 1.5 blocks away. You'll have C square, no, C circle, A square, and F square. Now, A square sharp, G square, G square sharp. Then D square, G square, A square sharp. And then you'll have A square, F square, D square, C square, A square, F square. Then you should have this. And now on to the last part, which is the talking part. Just a reminder, I'll play this already since I don't want to go over this again. This is what it should sound like at the end if you walk on this. And I'll get this. Okay, now that. I'm gonna start from over here. So, like, I think about 2 squares. Yeah, 2 squared gap. Then A square sharp, C circle, D circle, C circle, C circle, A square sharp, C circle, G square, A square sharp, G square, A square sharp, A square sharp, G square, A square sharp, C circle, G circle, 2 space gap, F square, F square, F square, F square, D circle, C circle, C circle, A square sharp, C circle, 2 space gap, A square sharp, D circle, C circle, C circle, A square sharp, C circle, G square, A square sharp, 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 G square, G square, G square, F square, F square, F square, A square sharp, D circle, C square, C square, no, C circle, A square sharp, and C circle. And then when you're all done, you should have this. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.